Now, ladies and gentlemen, as of last week, CS2 has officially been released for over a month. And well, since its release, it's been lacking. That being with content, having a large amount of bugs, ranging from performance, false bans, the sub-tick stability, and multiple other problems. Now up until today, that being November 1st, Counter-Strike 2 has lost 20% of its player base within the first month, and it doesn't look like it's going to be stopping anytime soon. Today's video, I want to take a look at why players are leaving, how to fix this, and what the future holds for content. Now today's video sponsor is SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a buying and trading marketplace for your CS items. It makes a safe and easy way to trade out your inventory for something new. By using my code MANDO, you can get a deposit bonus of 35% alongside a free $5 in your first trade, with a max bonus if you spend $100 or more. With a large variety of skins, deposit options, alongside daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways, they're doing a great job rivaling other competition. If interested, it'll be at the top of the link in the description below. Firstly, let's discuss the obvious, that being the player count. Every day as I log on to make videos or play the game myself, I also check the player count, and it keeps getting lower and lower. And while there's dozens of reasons why, from reviews, that being on Steam, YouTube, Reddit, some first-hand encounters from people I've talked to, and let's see some of those core problems. Number one is the obvious. With Valve deleting CSGO, we now have a fraction in CS2 of the core features, modes, maps, and things that made CSGO great over a decade ago. Number two is false bans. Many players have reported and also gotten a false ban on their account within the past few weeks. And this is also ranging back to the limited tests, which some of those still haven't been lifted. This gives new players and current players a false sense of security, which could be a reason, well, why some of these players are selling skins because they'll become worthless, and that's just reason 69. Either from inputting certain commands that are allowed by Valve into your console for matchmaking, spinning too quickly with too high of a DPI, and have VAC-LIVE detect and think that you're cheating when you're really not. And of course, there's always the AMD situation, but that was kind of AMD's fault, not necessarily Valve. They did a great job there with actually communicating to us what was going on and how they can fix it, so props to them. Reason three, bugs. Pretty obvious, pretty standard, and most people have encountered them. This is with clipping through walls, game mechanics clunky or not working at times, skins don't work, and a lot of this is factored in with the sub-tick system and that whole controversy. Well, that leads us into reason four, that being the sub-tick system and that whole problem itself. Right now, it sucks. It's one of currently, if not the most complained about problem. CS2 as of now, with me having over 300 hours logged, the game just doesn't feel good. It feels clunky. It feels like you lag more than you really do or would inside CSGO. With having 60 to 70 ping inside CS2 versus having that in CSGO, you lag, it feels like 2 to 3 times more. The game is almost unplayable. When you click a certain key on your keyboard, or sometimes you don't, you just start going in that direction. Games crash, sometimes multiple times in one match, and there's really no reason for it. There's also the peeker's advantage, and the list goes on. Valve thought a brand new system would be beneficial, but really it's 64 tick but worse. Over time, with Valve's innovation and the sheer amount of resources and money Valve has, I believe they will make this a better system over time. But of course, only time will tell. Right now, some of their best bets are to polish it up, do the best things they can, listen to player feedback, or somehow revert everything to the old tick system that CSGO had. But of course, when it comes to innovation, it'd be hard for them to do so. They would scrap everything they've made so far, people would still complain, but it would be better, and the whole situation's just a mess. And number five is the lack of a working anti-cheat. I personally haven't seen VAC-LIVE once in-game actually work, or end a game due to a cheater. The VAC system as a whole needs to go. But once again, like the sub-tick system, over time with Valve's innovation, money, and resources, they could make it a better time than any before. But of course, just like the sub-tick, only time will tell. Having waves of players banned with these VAC bans, it's just an outdated and old system. With CS2 being free to play, dozens of ways to get Prime pretty much for free, or buying just simply a cheap account doesn't do anything. These cheaters are just going to make new accounts. It doesn't fix the problem at hand. Also noting on the sub-tick system, some players could think someone else is cheating, but in reality they're not. Hitting headshots on CS2 is easier than any other Counter-Strike game. Also with the whole peeker's advantage, with someone seeing you before you see them, or you see them first, vice versa, that could also play into account why you think someone's cheating, and the list goes on, just like all these others. Now reason five is skins are busted. I'm gonna say broken, and they've been like this for a long while. Starting from the limited test up until now, skins haven't carried over to CS2 like they did in CSGO. Some of them just don't look similar, or look even alike. You still have skins like the Scout Acid Fade, which have the color of the skin on the scope. You also have updates every single week that don't provide any sort of detail with what Valve actually fixed for skins, or just any tradable item. And then coming to realize it broke more than it actually fixed, it's also giving players a false sense of security with their skins to see that Valve can change them at any given moment. Yes, that's the case, but in reality, when everything's fixed and all these things blow over, that won't be. And whether you like them or not, are a part of the skins community, they are a huge part of CS2. There's a reason Valve carried them over from CSGO. And with pissing off the actual players and the skins community, you're having both communities divided and people wanting to leave until things are fixed. And number six is lack of new content and existing content from CSGO. This is ranging from the community workshop to those maps to official maps that Valve actually had in the game, modes, features, and the list goes on. But the fact that that was a 10-year-old game, Valve essentially deleted CSGO and had CS2 to be the prime game, and they don't have half of those things, yeah, you're gonna piss some people off. Not everyone wants to play the current maps in the map pool. And number 8 is Premiere. Going to a recent interview PC Gamer had with Valve on CS2's release and the future content coming, they talked about how Premiere was not expected to perform or be the most popular mode out there, which is kind of weird because it's the only one with a good ranking structure, elo system, and things people have asked for this past decade. Right now, it's pretty good. There's been some fixes throughout the past couple of weeks that have been on the down low and also included in blog posts, but it's also just as bugged as everything else. If you win a few games in Premier, you played a couple weeks, maybe you've gone up 1,000 or 2,000 elo, if you start to go on a losing streak, you lose more than 2 or 3, you're going to start to lose more than 500 points a game. And in the course of one night, if it's really bad, you can lose 2 weeks of progress in one night, which is pretty bad. And I'm not saying it's not deserving at times, but I think some fixes with this could help. And lastly is number 7, and that's the lack of good updates. Now, the first 2 weeks of CS2's release, Valve went very hard with 2 updates a day, and now we're back to what it seems to be these CSGO days, with 1 to 2 updates a week with minimal changes, and just like the skin situation, they break more than they actually fix. And they don't even include half the changes made, this being the skins, maps, or certain bugs just in general. And a simple fix with this is just more communication with us. Now, these are just some of the reasons why this game is currently seeing a big decline in player count, and it doesn't seem to stop. Until the game is at least playable and in a better state, this doesn't seem like it's going to end. We need to fix what we already have, and that also goes for new content. Those saying an operation is coming very soon, or at least wanting one, I do as well, but that won't fix anything. It won't fix the market, it won't get players back to the game. All it's going to do is make it 10 times worse. It's just going to add 20 to 30 gigabytes of brand new bugs that Valve has to fix over the course of its entire lifespan. Also dating back to that interview that Valve had with PC Gamer, they mentioned that the first year their main priorities are not new content, that being for skins, cases, operations. What they plan on doing is fixing the game, and if they stay to that, it's going to be pretty awesome. One of the biggest complaints in CSGO with 2014 to 2016, even going into 2017, is so many fans in the community were so vocal about the problems in CSGO, and yet Valve just started hammering microtransactions down our throats through community capsules, new cases, operations, which this was great, but it wasn't addressing the problems at hand. And it seems to be, based off this interview, Valve has learned from those specific lessons. At the end of the day, Valve has dug this hole, and they need to get it out. Fix the game, talk to the community, and things will return to normal. With the amount of money made in Counter-Strike's worst times, it's still plenty to get some new employees dedicated to just Counter-Strike. Things seem really bad right now, yes. Being a Counter-Strike fan for over a decade of my life, I've seen this community be more split than it is right now, believe it or not. Even with us losing the player count, that being at 20% now, and will continue to grow, we still have much more players than other years. Let me know what you guys think down below. I know this video was somewhat negative and directed towards Valve, but I'm trying to use my channel to make Counter-Strike 2 the best game possible, point out the obvious things, and also point out what people don't really notice. Catch you guys in the next one. Stay positive, stay sexy. I'm out, guys. Peace.